Welcome to another episode of Eva's Exotic Fruit Reviews. Today, I have an exotic fruit that doesn't exactly come from a very exotic place because it's indigenous to the United States of America. I'm visiting my parents in Lake Barrington, Illinois, and although I'm not usually a fan of the area, I was very excited to meet a fruit that I would swear comes from some kind of tropical region. Let's take a look inside. First of all, you could see the outside is usually from green to black. And you might think, if this is from the US, how come I've never seen it in fruit stores? The reason is because you want to pick them when they're ripe and they only have like a 2 to 3 day shelf life. So it's not feasible for it to be a commercial crop because by the time you get it anywhere, it's ready to go in the trash. You can see this one is already a little bit too ripe in some spots. And these were just picked off a tree yesterday. And the flesh of this one is a little bit yellow. They can range from a little bit whiter to very orange, like a mango. And the first thing I noticed inside was that the seeds looked a lot like those of a cherimoya, sweet sop, sour sop, custard apple. You might know any of these names. So I was curious if it was related. It is related to all of those fruits. And the taste is kind of like a mix between a mango and a banana. And while I was researching to find out what it was related to, I found out that it actually is full of lots of different nutrients, but also full of a good concentration of a neurotoxin, and that they found that some populations that eat these daily could develop a kind of Parkinson's disease. So the question is, am I willing to eat some of this native exotic fruit? um, and the neurotoxins it contains. For my art, mm, them are some tasty neurotoxins. This tastes like, let me get a little bit more, a peach banana custard. The other one I tried tasted like mango. I want to clarify that I don't take neurotoxins lightly. So I did some research to find out what I could about how much of this has been found in this fruit. Originally, I found that the active property annanasin that has the neurotoxicity was found in leaves, twigs, and other parts of it. But this study from UCSD and the University of Louisville found it in the fruit. Now, they extracted this property alone from the fruit and did experiments on lab rats with it. And so here's what makes me not worry too much about having an occasional piece of this fruit. First of all, the fruit itself is full of all these nutrients that we mentioned before, and it's full of a lot of fiber. When we isolate a component away from everything else we would naturally get in a biteful of a fruit that contains it, we don't have realistic information about how it affects us. Because, for example, the fiber makes you poop. So how much of it gets absorbed into our bloodstream and goes to our brain is variable. And also, if you notice, it's high in magnesium, which also helps you poop. The study that they did on rats doesn't seem to accurately reflect how much we would be absorbing of this neurotoxin in its natural state with all these other components that it's combined with naturally. A similar situation happens with digitalis. Now, this is a plant that's been used medicinally for centuries, and if you drink too much of the tea that would be made of it, you would vomit. There's one active component in it that dilates our capillaries, and so it's used for congestive heart failure and arrhythmia. The active component in the plant that causes this effect is what is used in the drug that they sell. A lot of people will accidentally take one of these and forget that they did and take another one and end up dying or being rushed to an emergency room because their blood pressure drops so low because their capillaries are too dilated. Whereas if you had the natural tea, if you had too much of it, you would vomit before that active component caused your capillaries to expand to a point that was dangerous. So I do think that the neurotoxicity information should be heeded and we shouldn't overdo it just because we think it's fruit and it's healthy and we can. It's good to know to eat them in moderation, share them so that like a little neurotoxin won't hurt. Trust me. They're really delicious, and you really wouldn't expect something like this in this region, but it is native to this region. And I've included some information about it. It is called the PawPaw fruit. And I'm grateful to my sister who introduced me to it. She has a channel where she talks all about crazy, amazing fig varieties she grows right here in Lake Barrington, Illinois. So thank you. If you've experienced this fruit, please share in your comments below.